So starting the test drive in this Murano here, I have it in standard mode now. I really like just how it drives. You still have a pretty good power output, but it drives so normally, so nicely. And just very quiet in the cabin itself. Now the Murano hasn't had a redesign in a long time, but I guess with all of that time, Nissan was able to really get the ride quality down pat and make this feel as refined as a 2025 model year vehicle should be. Got rid of the CVT, so we have that 9-speed automatic. We have a 2-liter turbo 4 as opposed to the V6 that most of us are used to in that vehicle. But this still feels as quick, again, feels better behind the wheel. And I'm just hoping it wasn't too little too late for Nissan, because a lot of their vehicles, I think of the Armada and then the Murano, were just dated. Whereas a lot of the other competition had already had a redesign and then a refresh and all of that. But I really love how this does drive. And I feel like a lot of Ford Edge buyers were basically going to the Ford Edge because this was so dated. And even some of the Chevy Blazer people too. It kind of reminds me of the Sequoia Tundra Duo, where they did a little bit here and there, but really this thing was like 20 years dated, 15 years dated, since it got a real refresh or redesign. But I think they did a great job with this so far. Now, I do have it in standard again, so I'm going to put it in sport now as I get on the interstate here. All right, we're going to give it a little pull here. Here we go. And then I'm going to slow it down and give it a good pull getting on the interstate here. Here we go. So foot wasn't to the floor by any means, but still tested it out. Very impressed. So ProPilot's engaged now. And you do have to keep your hands on the wheel here. It'll kind of tell you every 5 seconds your hands aren't on the steering wheel, but good system overall. If you do need to take your hands off for whatever reason, you shouldn't, but as you can see, I'm doing that, no problem there. But I want to give a huge thanks to Nissan of Cool Springs again for allowing me to review this Murano today. But if you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click on that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information. I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. Now for the $50,000 mark, it's definitely not cheap, but most vehicles, you know, I see in my comments all the time, I'll pay you $30,000 for that, and the MSRP is $50,000. And unfortunately, that's just, you know, $30,000 isn't $30,000 anymore. And that's just kind of what you're seeing here. So inflation and all of that, and just things in general that I really can't explain to you are what's causing this stuff to be more expensive than ever, but it's just how it is. But I think a solid competitor, if you're in the market for something like this, the Ford Edge, the Chevy Blazer, they did a great job with this. The question is, how long will the Murano last? before either Nissan tanks or somebody else comes out with a much better vehicle, if that isn't the case already. But with all that being said, this is going to bring me to the end of my review of this 2025 Nissan Murano in the SL trim level.